morning, guys. This is Chris with CodeChris.com. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, all that jazz. We're just going to jump ahead here and give you a quick update on some of the things that are going on. So what I have mentioned before is that I'm doing this milestone series, if you will, which is kind of updates on this current milestone. And this particularly for me is going to be me presenting at a JavaScript meetup, right? And so this JavaScript meetup is the oh man, I should have had this ready. That's my fault, my bad. You can see I just recorded another video where I was talking about a website cut that I'm going to be doing, yada yada yada. Whoop, 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 whoop. 1 second. Oh, here we go. Bam. Okay, cool. Ugh. Alright, so what's going on is this is the Northwestern Chicago JavaScript meetup. And so on November 16th, that's the current game plan, I'll be hosting my talk. And as you can see here, my type is going to be on prototypical inheritance. That's kind of the current title I went with. I know I talked about superheroes, and I talked about doing some stuff like that. Don't worry, I'll probably put in some superheroes, probably even put in some explosions. Not quite sure how it all fits, but I gotta make it interesting and entertaining. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. So, prototypical inheritance is the topic. Understanding it in and out, and not only that, but also trying to find some fun tidbits that maybe people did not think about. Now, at this point, my train of thinking is I'm going to do some little stuff, you know, with maybe some frameworks or even popping in like Node or React. And also I want to mention things like ES6 because, you know, I know that people see things like the keyword of class and now they're like, oh cool, we don't have to worry about prototypes anymore. And maybe sort of giving a behind the scenes of how all this is really kind of working. So now the other thing too is because at the current moment I am the only talk for that day, and I've been informed that I am currently believed to be the only talk for that day. By the way, nobody wants to do talks. Like, everybody's nervous. I get that. 100% I get that. Well, like I said, normally they'll have more of a, you know, lower level, less complicated, less advanced topic. Let's talk about whatever. And then they'll have maybe a more advanced, more complicated topic in part 2. So the day would consist of two talks. Well, lucky me, it turns out I'll be the only talk. So instead of doing a 45-minute presentation with questions and answers, I'll actually be doing much closer to an hour and a half presentation with questions and answers. Or that might be including questions and answers. I'm still kind of getting the details on that one. So, yeah, it just went from like right here, you know, on okay, well here's all the stuff I need to gather, blah 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 blah, to like literally doubled. It literally doubled my workload if you think about it, and which is good because I haven't done too much of the workload yet. Simultaneously, man, I'm looking for new work. So you just saw, like, I literally have like a test thing I need to try out. So this is gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting because it's an hour and a half, which obviously at this point you understand I can talk for an hour. Don't get me wrong, I can talk for an hour. But this is, right now I'm just rambling. Like, this is just, right, whatever. What's actually going to be interesting is putting together that structure for an hour and a half. Which actually might be a good thing. I should be looking. I'm looking at this the wrong way. This is an opportunity. Is really what it is. Okay. Not only is it an opportunity to, you know, kick butt and take names, right, and really show my stuff, and really establish some good stuff. But what I can also do is, you know, I mentioned that I wanted to take this very same topic and make, you know, a quick tutorial video, right? Maybe like it'll be only 5 or 10 minutes long, but the way it's edited is much more in line with how I used to do videos, right? When I was actually doing some editing, doing some music, doing some little jokes here and there, some silly stuff or whatever. And I think this is that opportunity for me to be like, all right, well, instead of just a general topic and having that kind of editing style that I actually enjoyed doing too. I enjoyed it more. But this is the opportunity for me to get a hold of something a little bit more educational, a little bit more helpful, especially if you're newer to JS. And, the reason why I chose this topic specifically is because it is something that plagues everyone. I don't care what you say. It gets a little confusing pretty quick, and we're using it constantly. Yes, eventually you do understand it, but when you just learn a little bit more about it, prototypical inheritance and prototypes, you see it's being used by a lot of the pros, and how it's being used by the pros, by all the different frameworks, by all this stuff. That's where it gets really interesting. That's where it gets cool, and that's where you can start brainstorming some stuff. And so for me, I found it super imperative and important, and has really changed my brain on thinking. And I know for somebody who's new, who's learning JS, that they'll probably be like me, using it, applying it, even following tutorials, whatever the case is, but not really quite getting it. And whatever the case is, I think it's a really good topic for anybody, new or old. And with those who are new, I really hope, I take it back, I know it's definitely going to help those who are new, okay? Because it is definitely one of the more complicated pieces. And then for those who are old, I will find some fun stuff in there, something that's like, oh, cool, I did not think about that, that's interesting. Or more along the lines of oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that's how Node was doing its thing, right? Oh, that's a cool little trick, Whatever the case is, that's what I'm going to be doing, and finding it to be educational. I come from a family of teachers and know a bunch of teachers, and that's a whole different thing. And the thing is, I don't want this session to be dry, okay? Like I said before, I can make, yeah, anybody can, but the topics in language can very easily become dry and boring. People can yawn, and that's not right, because this stuff is super cool. This stuff is super interesting, and what I hope to achieve within this talk is I hope to achieve a level of understanding that I'm comfortable sharing with others and prepared for questions. It'll also be kind of treated like an interview, because I know that I'm going to have some questions, and like an interview, you'll tend to notice you get the same questions over and over and over and over, right? In an interview, your questions are like, oh, what experience do you have? Can you tell me about what frameworks you're using? Can you tell me about whatever, right? You hear the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. With this, I'll also have to do some brainstorming on questions that'll come up, right? Some typical questions, some FAQs, if you will. And with that, maybe instead of preparing for that answer, what I'll end up doing is incorporating it into my talk, because what I can also do with this talk is I have the ability to, kind of throw those in there. I have the time, right? So, anyways, that's just a little update for you guys. Sorry this one was kind of longer than I expected. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Please leave a comment down below if you're doing anything, if you're shooting for a milestone. I would like to know what that thing is. We're all learning here. We're all figuring stuff out, and once again, you're on your own personal timetable, right? You're on your own schedule. Whatever it is, let me know. But I do encourage you to have some sort of hard deadline for something. And once again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to do a talk. It doesn't have to be that, right? It doesn't have to be like I'm going to have my portfolio ready, right? It could be something like I want to apply to 10 jobs by this date, right? Or on this day, I want to, work only with jQuery, right? Or something like that. Whatever the case is, um, leave it down below. If you need any help or you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you pretty quick. All right? Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.